I used to dread sales calls because I was really approaching them the wrong way. I was able to increase my conversion rate from 10% all the way up to 40%. So today I'm sharing 5 keys to help approach sales calls without coming pushy or needy like experts do. Let's go. Hello my friend, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Adrian Somoza and I teach advanced web design skills and freelancing skills. So if you want to stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. Now, if you have already found a lot of value in my videos, right, in my free videos, why not join the BONT Club, right, and work directly with me? I can help you, bridge the gap to a financially peaceful and creatively challenging career, and you can join a community of niche web designers who are all striving to the same goal. So make sure to apply via the link below if you want to talk with me and take it from there. So you have a good lead that booked a call. Now what? The first difference between an amateur and an expert sales call, assuming that you have the right lead on the door, right, is amateurs focus on their needs and experts focus on their clients' needs. Amateurs focus on money, right? They want to sell. They focus on the outcome, right, which is closing the sale. Or there's like sayings like you need to create a need, right? Well, who really said that, right? Like, you don't need to create a need that doesn't exist. What you need to do is you need to focus on your client's needs and see if the client's needs match what you can offer him or offer her. It's not about creating a need that doesn't exist. It's about uncovering whether the client actually has a need that you can solve. Number 2 is never reject a prospect. So amateurs don't reject prospects. They always say yes. They always go for the sale. They also try not to, make the prospect uncomfortable by not saying uncomfortable things, right? They try to make the prospect as comfortable as possible. Now, experts, on the other hand, they are okay with rejecting proposals and rejecting prospects who are not aligned, and they are okay with saying, okay, Mr. Client, you're not necessarily a fit for what I do, but I do have, I can recommend this other service provider that can help you with what you want. So experts, do that, and they also challenge prospects. If a prospect is a fit, but for example, they are letting their fears come in their way, right? And they're not really committing to the change that they need, right? They are not investing in their business only because of fear, right? But they are a fit for what you do and you can definitely help them. Experts know that they can push back in that situation because there's a thin line, right? Because we don't like to push or push back, right? When the prospect said, yeah, I don't know, and you see them hesitating, right? There's a thin line between, and it takes a lot of expertise, right? A lot of sales calls to realize the difference between a prospect who actually wants to buy from you, but they fear the risk, they have anxiety from making that decision, right? And that's why they haven't invested up until now, right? Many prospects I talk with are in that situation, and if you're an amateur, you might think, you don't want to buy. Okay, no, don't worry. What's worse, you could jump into justification mode, right? Oh no, but I'm really the best option that you have out there, and I'm gonna create the best website that you will ever see, right? So instead of doing those things, right, you want to make sure that you really understand what's happening with the client, right? When they say, yeah, well, maybe I need to think about it, or right, when they give you those uncertain type of objections, in many cases, it means that it's about the risk. It's about the fear of making this decision, of making this payment, of really investing, right? There's always a risk when you're investing in online services because you don't know the person like even not physically, right? Because you're talking via maybe Zoom. So there's always an anxiety, there's always a fear, there's always a risk, right? But if you have done your job right in the sales call, right, before talking about the pricing and whether they are ready to hire you, if you've done a good job at the beginning of the conversation, you have uncovered enough reasons for your client to understand that there's a lot of value in the services that you can provide, right? And your client really understands and has told you that they are happy with the type of service that you do, with the package that you provide, this is exactly what they're looking for, then there's no reason why they wouldn't push forward, right? Like why they wouldn't commit and make the decision. So the only thing left to cover there is like that risk, that fear. Now experts can separate between, I don't really want to do this, and I'm the wrong person for you, and I fear a little bit, help me push through this, okay? And that's really crucial because that's gonna help you increase a lot your conversion rate. That finish line, right? That last push where you can help the client make the decision is super crucial to increasing your conversion rate. So next, number 3. Amateurs assume they know what the prospect needs. So they start talking about themselves, and they ask very few and very shallow questions, and they are really honestly happy with the shallow responses. Like whatever the client responds, that's enough. I'm not gonna bother you. Like if you didn't respond my question, okay, let's move on to the next one, right? Experts, on the other hand, diagnose what the prospect needs, and they start by asking questions. Questions. It's all about the prospect, not about you, at least for 80% of the sales call, okay? So you have to also ask a lot of open-ended questions, not questions like, do you want to hire someone to design a website for you, right? That's not an open-ended question. An open-ended question would be like, why do you want to hire someone, right? That's an open-ended question that will open up the conversation, will open up the prospect to telling you the reasons why they are looking for someone to hire. Okay, so dig deeper into the prospect needs, into the prospect's wants, and diagnose what's going on and if it makes sense for them, if they are ready for this investment or not, and if it's gonna yield a good ROI for them as well. Next one, number 4, is amateurs convince prospects to buy. So like I said, there's a fine line between pressuring a prospect to act compulsively, right, and put words in the prospect's mouth that they didn't say, right? There's a thin line between doing that and helping the prospect push through that fear, that fear of commitment, right? That fear of making the decision, and help them get to the finish line. Okay, so that's a very crucial skill that experts can master and get to master, right? And amateurs don't necessarily understand. They're just trying to convince anyone to buy, basically. And it doesn't matter if it's a good fit, if it's not a good fit, if they have the money now, if they don't have the money now. Like, they want to convince the client to buy. Now, number 5, and this is also very, very important. Amateurs let the client conduct the sales call. Experts conduct the sales call themselves. When you jump on a call with a prospect, you have limited time, right? You don't want to be there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. You want to make it as quickly as possible, like get to the point, right? It's a business call. It's not a chit chat type of like friendship call. So there's a goal. The goal is to see if you're fit to work together or not. So what happens is that amateurs let the client talk, and they see where the conversation goes. Like, they let them guide the conversation, see where it lands, right? Now, the problem with this is that you might lose, and I've seen this in some of the BONT Club members. We do both sales role plays, and I also do sometimes like revisions of calls that they recorded. So one time we did a revision, and this BONT Club member let the client talk for around 10 minutes of things that weren't really relevant for the call and for figuring out if they were both a good fit to work together. So the prospect was basically giving him a long background story. So it was like a whole lot of information that wasn't really necessary. When you become more of an expert in sales calls, you learn to interrupt the client and say, for example, right, in a very simple way, Mr. Prospect, so sorry to interrupt, I hate to do this, but we have limited time together. I want to make sure that we make the most out of it. I'm gonna ask you to give me like short answers, and then we can always dig deeper if I need to, so that we make sure that we cover as much as possible in the short time that we have. Is that okay? And you get the client's consent. So basically what you do is guide the conversation. You also don't want to start the conversation and let the client talk, but rather take the steering wheel of the conversation from the introduction, right? And make sure that you conduct the sales call to the point where you can both sit down and decide, okay, are we a good fit or are we not a good fit? I hope these tips help you improve your sales conversion rates. So, I've put a free course for you to learn my 5-step strategy to get a consistent flow of high-ticket web design clients. So if you want to check it out, it's going to be in the description below. Now, if you got to this point, most likely you're looking for extra help. So why not apply for a free consultation call and see if we're a fit to work together? So if you want to do that, make sure to schedule a call and apply. The link is going to be in the description. That's it for today's video. Hope you found it valuable. And as always, let's bridge the gap one sales call at a time.